This video goes out to all my busy girls and guys out there. Busy is just really a way of saying that we have got too much going on and we do not have time for an elaborate 3-hour morning routine. Neither do we have the motivation for a 10-step morning routine as much as we'd like to follow Dr. Huberman. I am going to go out on a limb and say that most of you do not even have an hour, but you still care about your mental health and your physical health. But at the same time, you've got laundry to do, kids to send to school, or maybe go to school yourself, maybe to office. You have grocery shopping, you have to take your parents to the bank, and then you have to go get yourself checked at the hospital. Life is busy, but you still want to have control over your day and you want your mornings to be exciting and something that you look forward to instead of dreading its very existence. I promise you, you do want that. And so in this video, we are going to go over a sort of morning routine cheat sheet, things and tricks that I have picked up over the years that still get me the benefits of science-backed morning routines without sucking all of the joy out of life. And I'm sharing these because these will significantly cut down on your effort in the mornings and the stuff that you need to do, but will still make you feel like your best self. So let's get started. 1. Have a flexible wake up schedule. Aim to wake up 90 minutes before you have to either start or leave for work or college or whatever it is that you do. I set up my alarm for at least 1.5 hours before I actually have to start my work day. And this is one of the best hacks I have ever come across. So for example, if I have a shoot that I need to get to at 9 a.m., I will wake up by 7:30 a.m. and that gives me ample time for myself to feel grounded, to feel calm, centered, happy about my day before I start work. Or if I have to go to the airport at 6 a.m., I'll wake up at 4:30 a.m. And because it's not a set time, like it's not 4:30 a.m. every single day, I can actually trick my brain into waking up at whatever time I wanted to, because I know that I can always catch up on my sleep the next day. I can sleep till 9 the next day if I want to, and I don't have to go anywhere. Now, doing this basically does two things. One, it reassures your brain that just because you have to wake up early one day does not mean it's forever and you can get your sleep in the next day. So you don't dread waking up in the morning. Second, it makes you feel more calm, more centered, because you know you do not need to rush through important stuff like breakfast or getting dressed because you woke up 5 minutes before you have to leave. This works even if you do not have anywhere to go, right? If you're just starting to build a morning routine for yourself, this is a really great hack. Just give yourself a set time to do an activity that is important, like going to the gym, or like starting work on a project, or starting to, write your essay or assignment or whatever it is that you have to do, and set a time for that. So let's say you have to start writing your assignment at 10 a.m. So then you need to know that you need to wake up by 8:30 a.m. to get a head start. And that's it. Step number 2, do a little prep the night before. This is just to ensure that you do not end up wasting precious time in the morning on deciding what to do and then going back to your default because you were too overwhelmed. So just create a basic schedule the night before, like what's the most important morning task for you, and then keep a glass or a jug of water next to your bedside for the morning so that you can hydrate when you wake up, and plan out your clothes for the morning. So if the first thing that you have to do when you wake up is go to the gym, you keep your gym clothes outside, plan them out, and that way you will not have to spend time picking out your gym clothes in the morning. And then you get into bed according to your wake up time to ensure that you're getting enough rest as well. So if you have to wake up at 8:30 a.m., which means you should be in bed and sleeping by 12 midnight, right? That's 8.5 hours of sleep. But if you are having trouble sleeping or getting to bed at a particular time, especially because you are used to staying up all night, you can try my magic combo of chamomile tea, magnesium, and melatonin. And this is just for the nights when my bedtime is way off my regular, right? So I usually go to bed around 11 p.m., 11:30 p.m. And if I have to sleep early because I have to wake up like for a flight the next morning, I will make this concoction. I will drink my chamomile tea and I'll take my magnesium before that and my melatonin after that. And I am sleeping in the next 30 minutes. Step number 3, hydrate. Now this is a pretty standard habit. Most people already do this. But if you don't, It takes 2 minutes and it has massive benefits. It helps your body rehydrate after 7 to 8 hours of no fluid intake. If you're feeling fancy and if you want, additional health benefits, you can also try adding pink salt to your water and drinking that. I've been doing that for a couple of weeks, been loving the results. Or you can drink water from a copper jug, that has been stored in it overnight. Or you can do methi water. This is what I was doing before this. Worked well, but I got bored and then I moved on to pink salt in water. Depending on what you prefer and what you feel like gives you the maximum health benefits. And kid you not, every time I start a new drink in the morning, it just makes me all the more excited to wake up and try that. And there are countless recipes that you can try. Obviously, I have a few that I'll link in the description below. So go ahead, check them out. Step number 4, give yourself a high five in the mirror as soon as you're up out of bed. Mel Robbins has really unlocked something awesome with this habit, and it only takes 5 seconds, literally like 5 seconds to do, and it makes you feel so good about yourself and your day. You're basically telling your brain that, hey, this is an awesome day, the day is going to be amazing, and I love that feeling in the morning. Basically, when you stand in front of the mirror and when you're washing your face or brushing your teeth, just high five yourself like this, and that instantly shifts your mood. You can't really be unhappy or bothered when you're high-fiving, and that's like the rationale behind this, and I've tried it, it works, I love it. Next step, start small. If you've always struggled with developing or keeping a morning routine, you do not want to jump all in to a complicated morning routine and then give up when things get tough. This is what happens with most strict morning routines. Every time I try and stick it out, once the motivation drops, I give up and I'm back to my default. And you don't want that to happen to you. So pick 2 or 3 things to start with and then work on them first before you move on to more elaborate or more complicated stuff. What I like to do is something called a 3-pronged approach, where I do one thing for my mind, one thing for my soul, and one thing for my body every single day. And these can be as short or as elaborate as you want them to be. And that means even if you have just 5 minutes in the morning, you can do one thing for your body, one thing for your mind, one thing for your soul. And if you have 1.5 hours, you can do one thing for your mind, one thing for your body, and one thing for your soul. For example, affirmations for your mind, a quick prayer or a meditation for your soul, and a 10-minute stretching practice or a 10-minute walk on your terrace or your balcony for your body. My personal 3-pronged approach involves a gratitude practice where I write down 5 things that I am grateful for. This literally takes 5 minutes and I can do it on my phone, my iPad, a notebook, whatever I have at hand. If I am traveling, I do it on my phone. If I'm sitting here on my desk drinking coffee, I will do it on the iPad. So literally there is no excuse for this. And every time I write down gratitude, every time I feel grateful for the things that I have, it just really shifts the tone of my morning and my day. For my soul, I pray to the energy that I believe in. Again, this does not take more than 5 minutes, but it is a good reminder, a beautiful reminder that there is a higher power that I can put my faith and trust in. And as for movement, going to the gym is actually a part of my morning routine. But if there is a day where I'm not able to go to the gym or where I am a little unwell, like today when I'm on my period, I will actually go and take out my stepper and I will use it to walk on while I sip on my coffee and watch like something motivational on TV or listen to really nice music on TV. And sometimes I'll do like a 10-minute morning stretch video from YouTube just to get the blood flowing. Next step, have one activity that grounds you. Now, this is 1 or 2 things that you do in the morning that center you and keep you away from all of that chaos that you're about to encounter. And it keeps your mind from spiraling. I really need this one activity because otherwise sometimes I will just spiral about the amount of work that I have to do, and then I'll keep on procrastinating, starting it till I have reached the end of the day and nothing has gotten done. So for me, that grounding activity is usually my morning cup of coffee. Just the act of preparing it and then sitting in silence and drinking it. It takes a total of 10 minutes, but those 10 minutes mentally prepare me for the rest of the morning. I also love to practice deep breathing when I am in a very stressed out zone, and deep breathing really calms down your nervous system. So it's really good for grounding. And on the days that the sun is out, nowadays it's cloudy because it's rainy weather in Delhi, but when the sun is out, I will do my stepper machine right next to the window. So I am also getting sun exposure while I'm doing my stepper machine and while I'm drinking my coffee. It just basically transfers the chaos in my mind to a more relaxed and therapeutic state. So these grounding activities help so much, even if I have not done any other part of my morning routine that day. Like when I have to catch a 6 a.m. flight, I will still have 2 out of 3 of these grounding activities, and they really help center and calm me down. And you can do whatever works for you, right? You could be drinking lemon water or meditating or praying. Different things work for different people. I'm just giving you examples from my routine to kind of get your brain churning and working in the right direction. The next thing you want to do is put on hype music when you're getting dressed. Honestly, this is something I first saw my Masi and Masa do. I had once visited them when I was a kid, and I saw that Masa had to go to office in the morning, my cousin had to go to school, and then my Masi had to go run errands. And all of them put on music, they start getting dressed, and it's just like a vibe. They're dancing through it, and it's so much fun to experience. It's so energizing. And that kind of stuck with me. So whenever I am getting ready now, whenever I'm doing my skincare, my makeup, when I'm getting dressed, I will put on my hype playlist, which is linked in the description. It's on Spotify. And it gets you so much more pumped for starting the day on the right note. And it also helps you time your dressing up or your getting ready activity so that it does not take up, an hour and you actually get dressed on time. So I give myself like a 3-song maximum to get dressed and do my makeup and all of those things. And 3 songs is what, like 10 minutes max. And so within 10 minutes, I know that I have to get done. So I'm hyping myself up. I'm also getting ready on time. And it kind of just becomes this one cohesive thing that really pumps you up for the morning. The next thing you want to do is simplify your routines. So your morning routine is essentially just something that's made up of multiple smaller routines. You have your getting ready routine, you might have an exercise routine, you have a breakfast routine, and all of those routines combine to make your morning routine. And the key to getting all of this stuff done in a shorter period of time, especially if you're a busy person who has to go to office or like college every single day, is to simplify all of those smaller routines. So instead of doing a 10-step skincare routine and a 30-minute makeup routine, figure out a way to get it done in lesser time. My makeup routine, the one that I do for a video every single time I come on here on screen, takes me 5 to 7 minutes to do my full face of makeup. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do like elaborate makeup routines, but reserve those for when you have the time. For your everyday office look, for your everyday college look, whatever you're doing, simplify your skincare, simplify your getting dressed routine, simplify your makeup routine, and any other routine you have in the morning. Similarly, your breakfast, right? So prep your breakfast menu for the week during your weekend. On Sunday, sit down, prepare what you're gonna have for breakfast for the rest of the week. Don't prepare the dish itself, just the menu. And if you cook yourself, you can actually pick out recipes that don't take a lot of time, like muesli or eggs or, dalia. Things like that will take you 5 minutes to prepare, but are also nutritious and at the same time have a lot of benefit and help you stick to your routine. The next thing you want to do is combine your activities. This is honestly one of the biggest game changers for all of us busy girls and guys out there. James Clear talks about it as habit stacking. Hal Elrod talks about it in his book Miracle Morning. Basically, instead of racking your brain to find time for everything you want to do, just combine activities so that your time is utilized better. For example, you can listen to affirmations while taking a shower or doing your skincare. You can listen to a podcast or an audiobook while you're stretching or going for a walk. You can listen to calming music while you're making breakfast. This way, you basically get to do 2 different tasks together and your morning feels richer and much more in control. Plus, this is smarter multitasking, right? Now, I'm not really a fan of multitasking, but here, different centers of your brain are involved in the different activities that you're doing. So it does not feel overwhelming. It will not feel overwhelming to listen to a podcast while you're preparing breakfast. And that ways you are enriching your mind, like you're doing something for your mind while you're also nourishing your body. Things like that. Next step. Create a to-do list or schedule your day before you actually start your day. Now, by this, I mean planning out your day before you actually start your day. I personally do this because if I don't, my entire morning is spent thinking about the tasks ahead and I'm not really able to stay in the moment and enjoy my morning how I want to, right? You can do this right at the start of your morning, like right after you wake up and brush your teeth, or you can do it before you head down to work and before you start your work, right? While you're having your coffee or chai. And it does not have to be a very specific method, like you create your to-do list in a very specific way. Do whatever works for you, right? I nowadays focus on writing down 4 or 5 important tasks that I have to get done for the day, which are like work-related tasks. Then I list everything else that I need to get done, from errands to smaller stuff to something my mom has asked me to do, so that I don't forget the stuff. And if it doesn't get done, I can pull it up for the next day. Next, you want to leverage your commute. Basically, when you're on your way to work or to college or to school, when I'm on my way to shoot, use that time to basically practice the things from your morning routine that you don't necessarily have time for when you are getting ready to leave. This is such a great hack for people who have longer commute times. When I used to go to office and when I used to go to college, I typically had to travel for an hour or 90 minutes one way. So when I used to go to work, I used to drive. I used to put on an audiobook or a podcast, on my car, on Bluetooth, and listen to it for the entire commute. I cannot tell you how many audiobooks I have listened to in this way. And when I used to travel by metro for college, I used to carry novels with me and get my reading done on the metro. Such a great way to pass your time. Even now, I do this whenever I have longer drives to tend to, right? Just last week, I had to travel to Chandigarh for some work, and on my way back, I played Naval Ravikant's Get Rich Without Getting Lucky, which is like a 3-hour podcast. And because I was not driving, it was such an enriching experience. I took notes. Again, if you're not the one driving, if you're not the one steering the vehicle, you have the freedom to take notes and really hone into what you're listening. You can also use this time to practice silence or practice journaling. Pro tip, journaling does not have to be just a pen and paper thing. You can do it on your app, on your phone, whatever you have at hand, right? And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I actually want to know how many of these tips did you actually think about before or knew before? And if you did know about them, were you practicing them? I would love to know in the comments. Remember that when it comes to morning routines, just because certain books, certain people on the internet, science, whatever, says something does not mean it realistically translates into your life in the same way. Academic learning and realistic learning are two very different things. And academic application and realistic application are also two very different things. So yes, while you consume information, consume it with intent. And then when you're applying it to your own life, also do that intentionally. Figure out what works for you, pick those pieces up and create something that is unique to you, that works for you. And that is how you create routines that you can stick to for the rest of your life. I hope you had fun watching this video. I certainly had a lot of fun making it. And I'm going to see you guys very, very soon in the next one. But till then, make sure you check out this video next because YouTube says that you are going to love it. And I'll see you guys very, very soon with the next one. Bye bye, my lovelies.